Unheard of.
Yo, what's up? What's up, everybody? It's your boys. We back for another episode of Unheard of. Thank you for joining us. And you know who it is. You know who I am. I'm Arthur. I got my co-host Jerod with me, and this week we got a guest for y'all. You know, we got Drew. He's back. He's back. He made it back.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, man. How's your week going, Drew?
It's cold, man. I'm a winter person. I don't like the summer months. As a bigger guy, summer and me just kind of don't go along. But I'm not gonna lie, this winter's been kind of brutal, man. It's really cold and it's really windy.
Yeah, man.
Don't move to Colorado if you think that's cold and windy down there.
Man, it was like 18 degrees when I got up this morning.
It was -7 2 days ago where I am.
Okay.
It's something different. I don't know. I feel like this winter in Georgia, man. Like it's cold. It's cold. It's already snowed twice.
Yeah.
So has it snowed twice or 3 times?
A couple times actually. There's been like a dusting or two, but
And like I don't think it snowed here in a couple years, I think. So
it's been a while. We mostly just get ice. I feel like that's the biggest issue when it comes to winter down here. It's not necessarily the snow, it's the ice that people aren't prepared for.
Yeah. But so you're doing good, Drew?
Yeah, we're doing all right. Brandon and Haley, as y'all know, they've been living with us since mid-August, early August. They officially moved out. They are gone and out. I come home today from work and all their stuff was gone. They have moved back in with Brandon's parents.
It sounds like you had more of a falling out than a consensual moving out.
Well, no. Jokingly, I come home from work about 2 months ago, and Brandon looked at me and said, "Well, it finally happened." I said, "What?" He said, "Brooke told me and Haley we had to leave." And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "I don't know, man. Call your wife." So I called Brooke, and Brooke was like, "That is not how it happened. It was very mutual. We all agreed that it was time for them to go." And I was like, "Yeah, cool, all right."
Look, I don't want to be in anybody's business, but I'm pretty sure,
especially on such a public podcast, you know.
Yes, such a public podcast. All of our, 10 to 15 listeners. But basically,
the loyal listeners.
Yeah, the loyalists. But when we came down to Georgia, one of these times, the last time I saw Brandon, maybe it was the time before last, because I think the last time I saw him was Colton's wedding. But when we were all hanging out, he literally was like bragging to me about how much money he was making out there welding in Atlanta. He's like, "Man, I probably made like 115K this year. I was out there making the new Mercedes Benz and all that." And I would think, is he still doing the same stuff where he could definitely afford their place?
Where are you going with this? He's calling Brandon a broke boy on the podcast.
No. See, what it is,
he had a kid.
What it is,
I got 2 kids.
Brandon actually is a foreman now. He's actually like a boss. He doesn't do the grunt work. He's like a boss now. But what it was the housing market was so big here. They wanted to sell their house and get something bigger, so they sold it and profited like $45,000-$50,000, and they didn't have nowhere to go, so they moved in with us. And the plan is they were going to live with us for a couple of months while they either looked for a house or built one. And the housing market and lumber, the price of wood is completely through the roof right now. So we just told him, "Hey, live here, as long as you want." And then I don't know what happened. I come home from work one day and Brooke was like, "Hey, you my brother, and that's my niece, but it's time for y'all to go."
Now that's an understandable situation. Like my boss did the same thing where they sold their house and made a bunch of money. I literally was looking at the value of our old home in Rockmart. I'm like, "Oh my God, since we moved away, that house has went up $100,000 in value." And I was like, but at the same time, like if you sell your house, you're also paying the price for the current ones. Like, it's still insane. So it's definitely a crazy situation.
I wanted to get back to what you had said earlier. Brandon has definitely gotten more, what's the word I'm looking for here? Like respectable as he's gotten older. He no longer brags about the price of money that he makes.
Brandon, if you ever listen to this, that wasn't a knock.
Brandon,
that wasn't a knock on you when I said that.
Defend himself. Y'all are just
Drew, you made that a knock.
Slandering this man's name.
No,
you
made
the way I said it a knock. It wasn't a knock.
You said this man came up to you and was just like,
I was
Mr. Big Dick on my job. You wanna know how much money I'm making, you son of a bitch?
I was painting the scenario because Drew was acting like they was bums living in their house for like a year.
No, man.
I don't feel like Drew was trying to paint them as bums at all.
Look, Drew. Look, I respect you, Brandon. That wasn't meant to go anywhere bad. Drew and Arthur painted it the wrong way.
He moved back in with his mama, and I called him about a little while ago, and I asked him, I said, so do you feel like a failure? And he said, what do you mean? I said, well, you moved out, got married, had a kid, and in less than 2 years, you're back living at home. He said,
Jesus
it's different,
Christ.
Man. It's different. And I said, yeah.
Man, the first 5 episodes, the first 5 minutes of this show is dedicated to Brandon slander. I don't know how I feel about this.
If Brandon or Haley or whoever listens to this, we enjoyed the time of them living here. All joking aside, it was nice being close to that baby, watching her grow up, and
yeah, man. And I love Brandon
and crawling and
yeah, man. I just saw Brandon at the gym the other day.
Don't you put that on me, Arthur? I love Brandon.
I mean,
I love his cocky tail during fantasy every year, like, because then it never turns up in the postseason. Like,
I mean, he got like last place this year.
He gave up this year. He was in
he had bigger fish to fry.
League. Yeah. He was in another fantasy league that was for a lot more money, so he focused all his time on that.
Hey, man, I'm willing to go higher. Like, if y'all want to put 50 in that pot, I'll do it. But I'm thinking about everybody else.
By the way, this is the first time I've been on the podcast since fantasy's over, so just wanted to take a second to congratulate myself for becoming your 2021 fantasy football champion.
Bro, when are you gonna come? When are you gonna be commissioned again?
You know,
we should have an election, bro. I'll vote for you.
Thinking. It was a big scandal. Big scandal.
I feel like you probably wouldn't have put the playoffs starting in week 14 this past season.
Hey, okay. All right, look, I got this flag. I got this flag thrown at me in my other fantasy league too. To be fair, I forgot about the extra game that was added to the regular season. But when I make a decision, I stick with it, okay? And that's what it was. But at the same time, all of our players were completely healthy, except for the ones that had season-ending injuries. So, it made for a very competitive last few weeks.
I mean, I was in the toilet bowl, so I didn't care.
So, yeah, congrats, Drew. Hopefully you get that trophy. We keep saying that to everybody every year, but I don't know where it is anymore. So,
speaking of trophies, also the first time I've been.
Somebody has it.
Also, it's the first time I've been on since January-ish. Jerod, not a Georgia fan, but I can respect it. Congratulations to your Georgia Bulldogs on finally getting over the Saban hump. I know you have to be extremely ecstatic for that.
Oh, I'm still celebrating. I'm buying gear in bulk at this point. I mean, it is what it is. We finally did it. We celebrated. Did you listen to the episode where we talked about it? Because I was saying on there that Tiff didn't even know we just beat Alabama or we were in the championship game.
I was hoping that at this point in y'all's podcasting career, you would understand that I am the creator of the Unheard Of fan page. I listen to every episode.
He listens to every episode.
I just want to make sure.
The Monday that it dropped.
But
and then I even heard the part where Arthur was talking about the Hawks playing, and Odessa was like, "So they're out of it? So they're out of it?" Yes, I heard.
Speaking of the Hawks and everything that you love about Georgia.
Wait,
Like-
wait. 1 second. 1 second. I'm sorry. We didn't do our full like how our weeks was going. Jerod, how's your week going, bro?
Hey man, my week was.
Are we just we're jumping
fantastic.
into it now?
No, we can do it after our weeks. Okay, we can do it.
Hey man,
We just got going with Drew, so I was just
we're
like,
talking about Brandon.
I was like, boom, let's go with it. But no, yeah, my week was pretty good. Tiff and I spent a day at a hot springs resort in Colorado while Mom was up here. We were supposed to spend about 2.5 days, but then this huge snowstorm came in, so we ended up having to leave early. But it was really fun, and then got back. Finally got a desk for my home office, so everything's looking pretty good. Played in the snow. Jaden and I went sledding today. That was fun. But yeah, man, it's been a pretty good week. What about you?
Yeah, pretty good. I mean, I just been chilling, working, doing a lot of learning at work. You know, just trying to be the best me I can be.
That's you.
Yeah, just been chilling. Just been trying to hang out. Oh, today's my mom's birthday, by the way. So
Happy
shout
birthday.
out,
Shout out,
shout out
happy
mama,
birthday.
happy birthday. Yeah, big. I don't know if she wants me to say how old she is. Never mind. But yeah, happy birthday, mama. Thank you. Thank you
Happy
for
birthday, Miss G.
Well, her last name is Pollard now, so
Sorry, Miss P. Miss P.
Happy birthday, even though you made fun of my car jack.
that was
Peace and love.
so funny.
Peace and love.
Can we just kind of talk about that on the show? How have we had you on the show since that happened?
I don't think so.
Bro, okay. So me and Drew were going to oh my god, I slipped in the chair. Me and Drew were going to a basketball game. We're going to see the Hawks play. And it was like one of my last days working at 7-Up. And so I was driving home, or I was gonna be driving to Drew's house so we could, you know, head to Atlanta and stuff. But I have terrible luck with cars. I mean, if you know me, you probably already know that. And I get to about past Woodland High School, like right past it. And then I start hearing this rumbling in the car. I was like, oh, I'm like, what the heck? I was like, is my tire going flat? So yes, of course, the tire went flat. And so I'm like, dang, like I gotta call Drew, all this stuff. I was like, I don't know if we're gonna make it to the game. And so I called Drew. I'm like, bro, tire went flat. Like I need a tire and stuff like that. And he was like, all right, bro. So he comes, and I called my mom too because it was her car. And so she's like, okay, I'll come. We're gonna get a new tire to put on there real quick, and there won't be no problems. You know, y'all still make it to the game. Well, they get there, and then my mom's husband is looking for a piece to his jack so he can jack up the car. And he's like, man, I sat it out and I don't know what happened to it. And so like he was looking for the bar for it. And Drew, I'm like, Drew, you might have a jack in your truck, right? Like you got it off like a lot or whatever. So they probably gave you a jack with it. Drew was like, yeah, I probably got a bar for the jack in my truck. So Drew, you can take it from here if you want, because he went to find his jack. And
yeah, first off, I didn't really even know I had one. So I go in the back seat and I pop my seat back, and I said, I think I found it. And I pull out this little piece, Jerod, no lie, that's like this big. And Arthur's mama was like, what in the world are we gonna do with that? And she said, that won't even jack up a mongoose bicycle. And I was like, don't make fun of my jack. And then she was like, Arthur, look at this jack he pulled out. And I was like, you know what? The hell with this car.
My mom, like, she would not let it go.
She
was
not
like,
let that go.
She was like, take a picture of his jack. I was like, Mama, no. Like,
Dang,
yeah,
bro.
She went in on him for his jack. No, shout out to my mama. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy belated. We know you'll be listening on Monday. So
Yeah. So happy belated birthday, Mama. But yeah, we got a show for you guys. We do talking on this thing. If you haven't realized by now, probably 20 minutes into the episode, we We'll be chit-chatting about stuff.
Yeah,
So,
and I gotta
what's the-
say this, I know we wanted to start with GTA, but I want to pike our listeners' interest. Okay. So last
Pike?
week, yeah, pike.
Peak.
You can say both. You can say both. Okay.
Can you
Listen,
say both? I ain't
yes.
never heard somebody say pike interest.
Pike's a word, brother. Okay.
Spell it. P-I-K?
Pique.
That's peak.
What?
What?
All right, whatever.
I'm sorry.
Just-
sorry.
Just Pike Peak, whatever. Just to keep everybody interested. We got on here last week. We talked about Drew, and because obviously we brought up your football team and how they haven't done much in a long time, but that led to something. And before we get into our real topics, we just wanted to show you something really special. ABG and I set this up. So I'm going to share my screen, and then we're going to get this going, okay?
Drew, it's Mike Conti. We've got to get you to calm down on these bum takes that you have about the Hawks and pretty much everything else that has to do with Georgia sports. You and I have personally gone at it on Twitter, which I don't enjoy. But we've got to get you to calm down and smarten up a little bit with these tweets, okay?
That is classic, bro. That is classic.
Listen here, Mike. I don't want to hear about hot takes from someone that doesn't live or born in Georgia. It's easy for you coming from Pennsylvania as a Penn State fan. You get paid to talk about Atlanta sports. I live Atlanta sports, all right? And you're not no professional. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Last year, the Hawks shouldn't have made the playoffs. They were bums who found their way in somehow, some way. And once they got there, they done some damage. But this dumbass, all right, a couple of weeks ago in the middle of a losing streak, we lost to the Miami Heat with seconds left. Kevin Huerter blew the inbound pass. Mike went on Twitter and said, Hawks fans, keep your head up. There's a lot of good signs of this thing turning around. I tweeted at him, hey, dumbass, how could you say that? We lost. And me and him had a war. He said, there's certain statistics that you can look at that shows that we are improving. And I said, Mike, at the end of the day, the only stats that matter is the win and the loss column. Tonight's a loss. And then
we went on a 7-game winning streak.
Of course,
that.
and then
Like,
they
literally
went on a
after that.
7-game winning streak. But that's beside the point. At the time, they lost that game. He's too scared to pay for my cameo to hear what I gotta say to him. That's for sure.
For my cameo.
My cameo. All right.
Hey man, to be fair, he got that back really quick, so he really must have remembered you or something. Like
no, he's got a lot of free time on his hands.
he has a radio show.
Bro, I gotta tweet this episode out and then tag Mike Conti in it too, so he can.
No lie.
So he can
No lie. I do
listen to
respect
this.
Mike. I do respect Mike. He's one of the hardest work. I love everybody at 92 on the game except for John Frickery, but
Jesus Christ!
all of those guys.
Now we're gonna
especially
bring you
Mike.
back and get him on the show.
Especially Mike. Mike's one of the hardest working guys in sports, and I respect him very much. But no.
Bro,
I'm
shout out to
surprised.
Mike
I'm
Conti.
surprised. Yeah, whatever. He
Thank
had a
you
lot
so
of
much,
fun.
Mike, for doing that cameo for us. Thank you for being
Probably
on
his
camera.
first
Thank you
cameo
for
ever.
doing what you for
I
doing
popped
what you
his
do,
cherry.
Mike Conti.
We popped his cherry here.
Thanks, Mike. We love you, man. That that was a good one. We we reached out to him, man. He did it really quick. I mean, he really wanted to roast you.
How did this work? Did you guys just hit him up and say, like, hey, we got a friend that you kind of got into it with before on Twitter?
Yeah.
Did you send him those screenshots that I sent you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, we had this plan. I don't know if did you leave that in the show last week that we should get Mike Conti, or did you cut that?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
I left
he's
it.
in the show.
Are you left it in? Okay.
Yeah.
Then.
It was in, but I'm not. I mean, he's not The Rock, so I mean, he's obviously got some free time, So
Yeah, I mean, getting somebody like The Rock probably would have cost a lot more money.
I bet Mike was probably giving away 5 free cameos just so he could get his name out there. Huh?
Dang. You know what? I hope he watches this just so he can go at you again, bro.
I'm coming for blood, Mike.
I've seen him on YouTube podcasts where they don't get but like 50 views. So maybe we can get him on here to go at it personally with you.
Yeah, whatever. I'll kill him. I swear.
Jesus. Man.
Not like physically. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
This is gold. This is comedy gold.
Emotionally through a debate.
This man said the Atlanta United championship lifted the Georgia sports curse. He's a moron.
Well, I mean, Georgia sports has been winning ever since, bro. So, other than the Falcons.
They need to relocate that franchise.
We don't need to bring up the Falcons on the show anymore until they start making some good decisions. I mean, my God, they can't even keep Calvin Ridley on the field at this point. Like, what's going on?
Is that the team doing that to him, or?
Hey, the team should make an environment that wants him to be there.
He wants to play football, don't he?
I don't know. Does he?
I mean,
he spent the whole season away.
Nobody knows the full extent of what is going on with him.
Yeah,
nobody knows.
He
only posted one update.
Somebody broke into his house in Florida and stole some stuff, but he wasn't at home and he was traumatized by it or something like that.
Was that the real story? That's what happened, confirmed, or by him, or
I think that's what happened.
Or was that a rumor?
I could be. Yeah, listen. Why don't you ask Mike Conti? But I could be wrong.
I mean, listen. I think Ridley does want to play football, but I mean, stuff happens to people, right? So
Let's just be absolutely honest. Let's be honest.
You never know when something's gonna happen to you.
Let's be honest. He don't want to play for the Falcons.
Yeah, because they apparently there's a bunch of reports that say Ridley's been looking for a fresh start. So probably means off the Falcons.
I mean, hey man.
No, not
as long as he don't go. As long as he don't go to Tampa Bay, New Orleans, Kansas City.
But what I mean, I don't
you
know,
would
man.
love to see him on a first-class flight straight to Detroit.
Honestly, now with Tampa Bay losing Tom, New Orleans not really know what they're doing right now. Carolina, I think, is dead in the water. Sam Darnold is not the guy. But technically the Falcons have a legitimate shot to at least try and make the playoffs. Will they? Probably not. But they do have a legitimate shot.
Hot take. I think Aaron Rodgers is probably going to end up down in Tampa Bay.
I hear he just bought some land in Tennessee. That's what Pat McAfee tells us.
But
but
didn't it come out that they're not looking for Aaron Rodgers to replace Ryan Tannehill?
Well, I mean, if you saw
it, gotta say that though, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you saw that playoff game, they are definitely looking to replace Tannehill. He hasn't been able to get them anywhere.
Okay, I mean, if it happens, you can say I was just wrong.
It's like Tim Tebow won a playoff game for the Denver Broncos, and then Peyton Manning comes calling to town, and the organization has to save face. But once Peyton Manning says, "Hey, I want to sign with your organization," oh yeah, Tebow's out of here. You don't let Aaron Rodgers slip for Tannehill.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right.
Shoot. But man, all right, folks, we are finally about to get into a real topic here, which is GTA 6 finally announced in development. Let's get into it.
Yeah, so I'm excited. I'm definitely excited for GTA 6. And if I mean they said that the production was well underway. So I'm not sure what that exactly means. I've never developed a video game before, but I'm willing to say within the next 3 to 4 years,
I was going to say
have some new
3.
GTA in our hands.
Maybe. I don't know. You know, when we talk about GTA, especially with Drew, we already know he's going to be disappointed because it's not GTA 4. So, man, I don't know. But honestly, I'm excited because obviously they're going to develop it for PS5 and like Xbox Series X. So, for those next gen consoles, man, GTA 6, I hope they bring it back to like I don't know. Everybody really loves San Andreas. So, I don't know where they're planning on the location for the next game, but I'm still looking forward to it.
I mean, San Andreas was in GTA 5, so
I know.
like, it's gotta be somewhere new, completely new. Not
Liberty
I don't know
City?
about completely new. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like maybe either Liberty City or Vice City. But I don't know. Maybe they make a whole new city up. Maybe that's what's been taking so long, you know?
Maybe.
They're just completely rebuilding rebuilding. They're building like a whole like city and stuff from the ground up. Drew, what do you think?
Well, you know, Rockstar has a history of, keeping everything close to the chest and delays and everything. So it probably would be real. I said 3, but realistically, probably the next 4 to 5 years. They made the announcement. It'll probably be another year and a half before they even mention anything else about it again.
Oh, yeah.
But with it being on the next gen console, I think you guys honestly are thinking small. If it's on the next gen console, there's a possibility where you could have 3 or 4 cities in the game and you could travel to each city. You know what I'm saying? Almost like what Assassin's Creed game was it that you could do that? Was it like a Valhalla type open world map where you could maybe be in Vice City, or you could fly to Liberty City, or you could fly out to, a San Andreas or a Las Venturas or something like that? With it being a next gen, I mean, there's no telling there's no telling what their limitations are going to be with the next gen console.
Well, we know it's possible. I mean, even just for Red Dead 2, you had an entire disc just to download the game contents and then another disc to play it, because their open world, well, I don't want to say open world, but their world in general, like just for the game, is like huge. Like if you don't have fast travel, like Jesus Christ, you're going to be sitting there for like 30 minutes trying to get from like Saint Denis all the way to like Valentine. Yeah. Like so I mean, hey, it's possible. I think for sure that's very likely. I think it would be cool to have a game where we could fly between cities, because what was it? Wasn't it GTA 4 that you had to fly to like a different place for a mission or something like that?
No, it was San Andreas. It was the mission
Oh.
St. Mark's Bistro. You flew from San Andreas to Liberty City.
Yeah, well, stuff like that would be really cool. Like if you've got 2 or 3 maps, going in between the game. So yeah, that'd be pretty cool, man. But I don't know.
I do like the idea of them building a completely new city, almost like base the city off of maybe a Chicago, or you could even possibly do a smaller city like a Ludendorff, like they done in the opening of GTA 5. Maybe you could get kind of sort of like a Midwestern, type small little country town. I mean, it ain't gonna be no metropolis, of course, but I would like to see them go back to a Liberty City or a Vice City, but at the same time, I think it would be cool to maybe be introduced to something completely different,
Yeah.
They in the city based off of Atlanta. That'll be a good city. But
what about New Orleans, Arthur? You just came from out there.
No, the Caesar Stadium though it's kind of cool, no lie. What is their basketball stadium called? The Smoothie Kings Arena. Smoothie King Arena. Jesus Christ. But yeah, no, I mean, I guess that would be a pretty cool place. Gators everywhere. But
What if it was based off like a European place? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just thought
the first two were based in the UK, so
yeah.
I don't necessarily know if they would do that though. I feel like I don't know. I feel like the guys that created it, I think, are British, but like they've become famous here in the States. I just don't see if I could see them going and developing a Europe city. I don't know. I mean, I didn't think they were going to do a GTA 6. I mean, I was a doubter for that. I mean, I've come on this show and said, literally, they're not doing GTA 6. And once again, apparently my sports takes and video game takes are just hot garbage.
But to touch back on what you guys were saying about making a big map, basically, of just different cities, I feel like it would take them, if that was possible, it would take them a long time, and it won't be as much to do, as it is in like GTA 5, because like almost every nook and cranny of that map, there's something to do. There's something to be doing. But like I feel like where they kind of fell short in Red Dead, like, yeah, it's a big map, but a lot of it is just open space. And they kind of break it up, like they put the random encounters, in those areas. But like once you've got those done, like it's just places to walk your horse through. There's not too much to do in that large map. You know what I'm saying? So it would. I feel like if they tried to do just big maps of big different cities, that it would kind of fall flat, because there wouldn't be enough maybe just to do inside of the cities other than drive your car around and kill people.
I mean, I don't know. They better come out with something big. I mean, GTA 5 has been released for 3 different consoles, like console generations, So this is they better do something big, man, because between the PS3, PS4, and PS5, they've been milking GTA 5. So if development is well underway, they better have something good.
Hopefully.
I mean, I don't know.
I'm excited for it.
I mean, obviously, I think what they did with Red Dead though is entirely different than what they were doing for GTA, because with Red Dead, that Red Dead 2 especially is very, very story heavy. Like, I don't think they really care about. They obviously don't care about the online gaming in Red Dead 2 because it's freaking awful. But the Red Dead 2 itself is like campaign heavy. Like they just put so much time into the story that I don't think they was really caring about anything else.
I mean, I guess, but that's where, like, to me, you kind of lose replayability. I mean, I know, Drew, you've been replaying through have you been playing the story?
Yeah.
Or online?
Yeah, the story.
Okay.
I think that one of the things that you're missing the most about the map for Red Dead Redemption 2 is, I think when Rockstar was developing that game, I think that they were trying to make it almost as realistic as they possibly could. And in, the Old West, there wasn't that many towns. There wasn't that many people. It was very much so wide open. So I think that they were more or less trying to almost capture a sense of realism from within the game, which, some people like it, some people don't. You don't like the wide open spaces. I love it. I mean,
yeah, that's why you could just go like
it.
hunting instead of doing missions out there,
Yeah.
I mean, I did do the whole fishing thing. I caught all the legendary fish, little fisherman, they call me. But I don't know. Yeah, like to me, that it just kind of like lost replayability, because I don't know if I want to dedicate that much time again into a game that I've already beaten.
Dude, I've played this story like 3 times because I literally love it. Like just because of the way that you can get like 6 different endings. So I keep playing the story. I love it.
And I've played it through probably 3, maybe 4 times, and each time, it's not big things, but each time I've played through it, I've encountered something that I didn't encounter from the previous time that I played it, something new. I mean, even now, it's been a couple years since it's been released, and I've played it a couple times through. I'm still playing through it and finding things in the game that I never knew. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That I've never come across before. It's insane how much detail they put into that game.
It's like, and I mean, this was supposed to be about GTA, but honestly, I really like the story of Red Dead 2, so I'm gonna mention this. It's like the first time he obviously gets like tuberculosis, and then the second time comes around, you play the story, and you got to go beat up old Downs, and that's where he coughs on you with blood and everything, and that's where he gets it. I'm like, man, I really don't want to go play this mission because I don't want Arthur to get tuberculosis,
Yeah.
but you got to play it. And now, but yeah, I mean, they've got a bunch of things. Like whenever I played like the second or third time, I played way more of like the side quest missions that involved all the other characters that I didn't do the first time when I was just trying to get through the story. But no, I think obviously Rockstar, when they finish something, it's usually a really good product. So I'm only hating on them for milking GTA 5 for as long as they did. But I almost guarantee that when they come out with 6, we're all going to enjoy it for a long time. The only thing I wonder about is what they're going to do with GTA Online because they've put so much money into that. Like that's where basically all their money comes from now is if they release GTA 6, it's in like a new city. Are they also going to change GTA Online, or is it still just going to kind of be based the same way it is now with like upgraded features, or is it there going to be a new version with the mapping to match like 6? I don't know, but I know that they really, really put a lot of money into GTA Online. So I wonder how GTA 6 affects that.
I think they kind of go because they, like you said, they put a lot of money into. They put a lot of investment into this. I think it's gonna go the way of kind of like Warzone, and you know how it started with which Call of Duty was that? World War II.
Yeah. No.
So it's
Cold War, right?
Cold War. Yeah. It started with Call of Duty Cold War, and now it's kind of like its own thing. It's on the new Call of Duty, and so you could still play it with people if they're playing from Cold War.
Yeah.
So
True.
So it might be like that. You kind of like it's a separate thing. You just kind of boot it up like through the app, and you just connect to the servers from all over from the last game.
Yeah, you're probably right. I mean, that's virtually how it is now, right? Where you can log on to the PS3 and hop on to GTA Online with people playing on PS5, right?
I don't know. I haven't played GTA Online in like 3 years.
Played it in a little bit. I wonder how my money laundering scheme is still going. So, but I don't know. I'm excited. But for something else that's been a cash cow, the major cash cow of the NFL finally just retired, folks. Tom Brady. He actually called it quits. I was on the record. This is probably the first sports prediction I got wrong on the show.
I'm
I
sorry,
thought
Jerod.
He would be petty enough to come back.
I just want to point out another good transition, another good segue. This is the segue king, man. The segue, the segue god, dude. I just want to give it up to you one more time.
Thanks, folks. Thanks.
I
got it wrong. I really thought that when ESPN leaked that info, he would be pissed enough to come back for another year. But no, the man is clearly in his Kobe Bryant stage. He's about to try and really become a billionaire, talking about cryptos and everything. So I don't know. I mean, hey, heck of a career. And we're talking about this on the anniversary of 28-3 for the Atlanta Falcons. What in the heck?
Don't.
Yeah, man. He finally did officially retire. And I thought it would be. I actually kind of thought he would do something more than just a Instagram post. You know what I'm saying? Like, saying peace out and all this stuff. Like, I thought it would be kind of like a whole like little press conference and stuff. And
I don't think he knows what he wants to do, because wouldn't the right thing to do be sign a one-day contract with the Patriots and retire? But I think the man really got so petty about how they treated him, kicking him out the door in New England, that he didn't do anything like that,
Yeah. I'm happy to see him go just because he was in the NFC South.
He's undefeated against the Falcons.
You gotta recognize and appreciate the just immense amount of talent that this man brought to the football field. So I mean, definitely give him his props and his flowers for that. But don't let the doorknob hit you, or the good Lord split you. You know what I'm saying? Tom Brady, don't come back. We don't need you no more. We don't need you,
man.
You know what I'm saying? So, but I mean, everybody has been doing their like tributes to him and everything on online and Sports Center and everywhere. So, I mean, he's definitely getting the GOAT treatment. So,
and he deserves it. I mean, Tom Brady, you might have deflated balls for most of your career, but the day you beat the Falcons the way you did in the Super Bowl, you really just deflated my heart. And I still haven't recovered. And the Falcons obviously haven't recovered. Okay. Like, and just the ultimate taunt was joining the NFC South. And, but obviously, man, Brady.
And then winning a Super Bowl your first season in the NFC South, man. That was.
Man. I don't think there's ever going to be another player like Brady. I don't think anybody's ever going to catch up to him. Those 7 rings are going to go down in history. But man, I don't know. I really thought he was going to play till he was 45. But initially he did sign a 2-year contract anyways with Tampa Bay before renewing for that extra year. So maybe he was just like, hey, I'm just going to go play 2 years and show these guys that I can still win a Super Bowl. And if I don't, I'm going to keep playing until I do to prove the haters wrong. But then he won one in his first year, so that probably changed everything.
The real question is Gronk finally retiring?
Oh yeah.
He's done.
Yeah, he's finished now completely.
Dude, he wouldn't even play for Belichick. Like, after he retired the first time, he's like, I'm only coming back to play if it's for Tom Brady, because I'm not playing for Belichick. I play for Brady.
That's crazy. Yeah, now good luck, AB. You're never gonna get on another football team now, dude.
Man. Antonio
Tom Brady's
Brown.
gone.
Bro, I don't think we ever talked about that. That was crazy.
I'm pretty sure we did, didn't we?
Did we? I don't know. I can't remember.
You listen every episode. We talk about AB and his unceremonious exit of that game against, what was it, the Jets?
Yeah.
The Jets, yeah. I don't think you guys talked about it. I think it was during the time where y'all took a week or 2 off.
Oh, okay.
Probably. I just get I'm to a point where, like, hey, we're just talking. Like, if I forget something, I'm just like, what we talk about 3 weeks ago? Like,
I'm pretty good at remembering what we talked about. I guess not. Yeah, look, AV. I mean, I think he's probably done. I think he's probably done.
AB?
Yeah.
I don't think he's done. I mean, I think he wants to play. Now, if does a team sign him, that's a different thing. But I mean, I think he still wants to play football. There'll be some stupid team out there that'll sign him to a 1-year deal, and
yeah, there probably will be somebody stupid enough. I mean, let's look at how many times Josh Gordon has gotten back in the league, and the man the man continuously gets back in the league. And even after they said, hey, marijuana's okay, dude, he goes and tests positive for PEDs. Like, literally, like, somebody's going to probably sign AB, but the next chance will probably definitely be his last because I don't think he's going to be able to get away with anything like that again, like what he did against the Jets.
Yes, man. I don't know. I seriously think we might have seen him in pads for the last time and then take off his pads and run across the end zone while they were playing.
Yeah.
I wonder how it works. I know, like with basketball, if you play a certain amount of games for a team and say you get traded from that team, but say you spent the majority of the season with that team and they win a championship, you get a ring. Happened the year the Cleveland Cavaliers played. They traded away, I want to say it was Timofey Mozgov.
Yep.
They traded him away mid-season. They won a championship. And that very next season, he got presented a championship ring. I wonder if Antonio Brown will get – no, never mind. What am I talking about? They didn't win it this year. What am I talking about?
I was going to say, I was like, where are you going with this? I mean, they're not even –
We will let's edit that out.
He got one.
Yeah, we'll
got
cut
one
that,
from
cut
last
that,
year.
cut that.
We'll cut that one out. I ain't gonna lie. I don't listen. It was a good take, and halfway till I realized them fools lost. What am I talking about?
I was just gonna let you finish it until I corrected you. But Arthur caught it. So
No, he caught it. He still caught it. I was like, man, where is he going with this?
I was just gonna let his mind go.
I think that the weirdest thing about Tom Brady's retirement to me is, he's obviously the winningest quarterback of all time, 10 Super Bowls, 7 championships. He went out on a loss. Like, yeah. I always picture Tom Brady hoisting up a Lombardi, like, this is it, I'm done, I'm gone. But he went out on a loss.
Not many people. I mean, yeah. Not many people are able to go out with a Super Bowl win, though. But when you do the math, he's got more.
Look at Roethlisberger. I mean, there was no way he was gonna go out with hoisting a Lombardi over his head.
We're not comparing Roethlisberger to Tom Brady for one.
Yeah, I mean, let's pump our brakes for just a second.
I mean,
I'm saying like a lot of these quarterbacks are not gonna be able to just say, "All right, I'm done after I won my Super Bowl."
Like, let's think about it. Like, Peyton Manning got super lucky that he was able to walk off with the Super Bowl because he was basically done. Like, he was not playing very well, and his defense carried him. Like, if they lost in the playoffs, like a round or two before the Super Bowl, he was probably going to retire anyways. I mean, he looked like he was done. And like at Tom Brady, like at what point does the grind stop? Like, like, dang. Do I play another whole year just to get an 8th ring? Or do I finally spend time with my family now that I'm going into my 45th year of life? And I've already accomplished everything that nobody's ever accomplished before in the league. I'm obviously the greatest player. So, I mean, I don't know what you do if you're in that situation. Like, at some point, you got to go.
Did you guys see the meme of his wife, Giselle? She was on a phone texting. It was an old picture, but it was a meme, and the caption read, "Hey, Adam, it's Tom. I'm retiring. Don't call me."
Man, but yeah, like I don't know. It made sense for him to retire now. I mean,
it does feel weird though.
He may have gone out on a loss, but he did not. I mean, but he still went out on top. Yeah. So no, I mean, like nobody can take that away from him. So
to me, it does feel weird just because I never thought. Like, obviously, Tom Brady's the talk of all the people who retired this offseason. I never thought like we would see Big Ben and like Tom Brady retire in the same year. Now, Big Ben probably should have retired like a couple of years ago, but man, it's really weird. That's going to be a weird Hall of Fame if Big Ben is a first ballot, and then you've got like Tom Brady in 5 years just overshadowing everybody. But I don't know. I mean, they were talking about it. Like, if you looked at recent playoff years, especially last year, how Giselle is usually like all into the games. And when they were down by like 20 points in that game against the Rams early on, she's just in the booth chilling. Like she's just chilling on her phone, having a great time. Everybody's already like, this is it. Tom's done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have y'all seen? I saw this TikTok that was talking about how Giselle is a witch. Like she makes him these altars, like, and gives him all these like crystals and stuff, and like tells him how to will his game and how to will him into winning and stuff. Like she gives him all these like chants and stuff to say. I think it was what was he on? Was it on the shop? I don't know where it was, but yeah, somebody had like highlighted that and it was like, yo, his wife's a witch. So
I don't know.
Maybe that's how he won all those Super Bowl rings.
I mean, honestly, I think his only goal in Tampa Bay was to just win one Super Bowl to show that he could do it without Bill.
Yeah.
And after he did it in the first year, he didn't really have much else to play for. So, I mean, because last year we were talking about this, and I had already said after he won the Super Bowl without Belichick, I'm like, it's pretty clear to me who was running that ship over there. I was like, Tom Brady lights a fire under his teammates, dude, because there was years in New England he wasn't playing with nobody, and they were winning the Super Bowl. So, I mean, to me, is it the coach or the player? In this case, I'd put Brady above Belichick.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, but Belichick might be coming right back on the ass with Mac Jones. So who knows?
Not if they have to see Buffalo every year in the playoffs. They got whipped that round. Jesus, they got
Mac Jones
whipped.
is just getting started. He's just getting started.
I mean, I agree. I don't think Mac Jones is terrible. I just think that there's a lot of really good teams in the AFC now. I don't know how Belichick is going to be able to compete like he used to. So, because for a long time, the AFC East, Jesus, those other three teams were awful. But now Buffalo is really good. So, Jets, they'll probably still be crap for a long time. Miami is also in their conference, right?
Yep.
And they're like somewhat decent every other year. You know, you never know what's going to happen. But yeah, I mean, they've even got a tough division now. But yeah, man, it's really weird because like next year, and I think the league is in really good hands. We're going to have a lot of good football still with all these quarterbacks that are in the league now. But man, it's actually really weird that he's retiring. You ain't going to see Tom Brady playing on a Sunday now.
Well, I'm glad for one.
The Falcons should be. Could never beat them.
Don't come back. Great player, great career. So obviously very prolific. But shout out Tom Brady, but still don't come back.
Shout out.
But yeah, Jerod, we got another segue coming. We ramping it down. What else we got?
We got another segue, but I think Drew had to say something.
Yeah, I was gonna get back to what Jerod had just said, and it's just top of my head. I want to get your guys' opinion on it. You got Tom Brady with the NFL, and you've got LeBron with the NBA. When LeBron decides to step away, what league do you think will have a tougher time finding like the face of their league? You know what I'm saying? Like when you think of the NFL, you think of Tom Brady because I mean he's a winner. And when you think of LeBron, when you think of the NBA, you think of LeBron. So when LeBron finally calls it a quits, in your guys' opinion, what league, what sport will have a tougher time finding like the poster boy?
NBA.
The NBA?
Yeah. There's too many good faces in the NFL. I think everybody already looks to Patrick Mahomes as like the next big thing.
We've got young stars in the NBA that are like gonna be able to easily take up that like that little face position. You know, whether it be Luka or Trey or you know, like Giannis. You know, there's a lot of stars in the NBA
Yeah.
that the league is going to be able to fall back on for their love or their hate. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they're not going to have a hard time at all. Now, finding somebody that's going to be as dominant as LeBron is, I don't know, or was.
I was about to say, I don't think it's going to be that difficult to find somebody that's dominating the game. I mean, even right now, dude, you got Steph Curry literally lighting up the entire NBA again. Like if LeBron retired tomorrow, I would look at Steph Curry as the face of the league.
Hadn't Steph Curry like literally been on a bad shooting slump? Like,
I mean, I don't know, man.
Yeah,
He's got
ever since he
MVP
broke
numbers.
that record. Ever since he broke the record, I think he's been in a bad shooting slump.
Yeah, I mean, look, I still think of Steph Curry as like the face of the league outside of LeBron.
Isn't he like 33, bro? How much longer does he have?
Beats me. All I know is the dude revolutionized the game.
I don't know how old Steph Curry is. How old is Stephen Curry? He actually is 33. But I mean, I feel like we definitely have a couple more seasons left of LeBron because I think he wants to play with Bronny. So I think we get a season of that, and then LeBron says, "Okay, I made it. I'm the first father-son duo in the active rosters in the league." So
I was actually listening to a podcast a couple week or two ago maybe, and Shaq was on it, and they were asking him about LeBron and LeBron's legacy when it comes to the NBA and things like that. And they asked Shaq when he thought LeBron would retire. Is it a championship more? Two more championships? Is it another MVP? Like, what would make LeBron retire? And Shaq said it was in his opinion. He don't think LeBron. Obviously LeBron wants a championship, but he thinks that LeBron is going after the scoring title. He wants to surpass Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and then once he does that, he'll call it a career.
I mean, it's not like he'd still be considered the greatest to me. Even if he passed the scoring title.
It would be hard to not say that he's the greatest ever if he could do that.
Look at the minutes compared to what Kareem played as to how many minutes LeBron has already played.
Well, Kareem played like 26 years in the NBA. It was insane how many years he played. He was a rookie in like 68, and he played to like 91.
Yeah, but how many like best of 7 series has he played?
Yeah. I'm talking about when you look at LeBron, say he did finish with the scoring championships, right? With the all-time scoring list. That would put him like every category, that would put him like top 3 of every category, except for assist. I think he's like top 5 in assist. But you're looking at just about every category, all the MVP. It'd be hard for him to become the NBA's all-time scoring leader and not say, yeah, that's the greatest player of all time right there. That would be hard.
No, it wouldn't be hard for me.
You're right. I mean, what do you define as the great? Who's the greatest of all time in your opinion?
Probably Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan.
Of what he did in such little time, pretty amazing. Like, look at it this way: top 10 players, or most minutes played all time. Kareem's obviously number 1, but LeBron James is already on the top 10. He's number 6. So he's already played 50,000 minutes. Kareem played 57,000 minutes. So he's not far from him in minutes played already, which means by the time he's done, he's probably going to surpass minutes played too. I don't know, man. It's hard for me to get over the 7. I get it. You look at the finals appearances, and that's a good accomplishment. But nobody looks at Jerry West and says, wow, he went to the finals like 10 times. Like, really, it's about he got one title. LeBron James has lost in the finals 7 times, but they're only really going to look at those rings in the overall legacy.
Sure. So, what is it about Michael Jordan that makes you say he's the greatest ever?
2 three-peats.
Bill Russell won 11 championships.
That's true, but he didn't play as many teams. And the level of competition in MJ's era was probably way better.
I would agree with that.
Wasn't Bill Russell also like a player coach? Like during that time, he was also like the head coach of the Celtics for a couple of those championships.
What was that guy's name? Red something or other. I think he was their coach. I could be wrong. I don't know too much about the 60s NBA.
Yeah.
I feel like the talent is there's a lot more talent in the NBA nowadays than maybe there was back in the 90s. Or am I tripping?
Well,
I would agree with that.
I would agree with the level of competition. I don't know. I like looking back at like MJ's highlights, and them dudes are literally almost able to knock each other out in the mouth and not get a foul called. And today's NBA,
that's not competition. That's not talent. That's
all right. That's not talent.
Beating the fuck out of people. Like
it's also level of play, bro. Like LeBron James had to leave a couple finals games for cramps.
Yeah.
Y'all don't see MJ out there leaving for cramps.
I mean,
my man MJ came back after his father was murdered in cold blood and comes and plays.
Yeah. He also had a hangover and told everybody he had the flu.
That's even better. I mean, look at that right there.
He was hungover.
And look at the game he had in the finals.
Now, do you think there's a possibility? What would it take for LeBron to become the greatest of all time in your eyes? Or is there no touching Michael Jordan ever? He's just the end all be all.
I mean, to me, I'm not going to argue LeBron's athleticism. I think athletically speaking, he's probably the most gifted player anybody's ever seen play. But when it comes to like accomplishments, I don't know if he's going to be able to surpass him. But I also really think that LeBron has been the best face the NBA has ever had because of what he's been able to do with like social justice and everything, and how he's been able to just speak out about anything that he wants, really.
I think that Michael took everything global. There was no international fans in the mid 80s. And then by the time Jordan, not the first time he retired, I mean, the international fans that they had was just millions and millions and millions of fans learned about basketball because of this one guy. I'm not going to discredit what LeBron has done off the court as far as underprivileged communities, but if you're talking about a global impact, I do think that Michael Jordan's had a bigger global impact than LeBron.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like for me, when you look at the greatest players of all time, like especially when it comes to NFL and NBA, the only reason I talk about like Michael Jordan is ultimately the rings. The competition was pretty close. I mean, obviously there is a lot of athleticism and competition in today's league. I'm just saying it was also competitive back then. So for me, I don't know. I like the rings conversation because now when anybody asks who's the greatest player in the NFL, who are they going to say? Tom Brady. And he's not even the most athletic player. Never was.
Yeah.
But they're going to say he's the greatest player that ever was until somebody gets like 8 rings, right? Or 7 and matches them. So, because Tom Brady also has 3 Super Bowl losses though. So like, even if somebody just got to like 6 and didn't have any losses, somebody could probably really make the argument that somebody's better than Tom Brady at that point in time. But,
most players don't even go to the Super Bowl more than twice in their career too. So I don't think that's ever gonna happen again. 7 Super Bowl rings, like that'll
Yeah, I don't think it'll be a while.
Yeah.
If it does happen, it'll be a while.
I mean, exactly. I mean, literally though, I mean, Mahomes almost had a chance to go to 3 in a row, until the Bengals beat him this past week. But so who knows? I mean, it's probably possible. But talking about like the NBA and everything, we want to wrap this one up for you folks. We know it's been probably one of our longer ones, but not to beat a dead horse. But this horse has already been beaten to death. And what I mean is black candidates in the NFL keep getting beaten to death by the owners and aren't getting a legitimate shot. Hence
we're gonna
the
give
Brian
you
Flores lawsuit.
We're gonna give you about a 6 out of 10 on that segue, bro.
It's late. It's late.
We're gonna give you we'll work on it. We'll work on your black topic segues.
I could have come up with a better one, but that one we didn't actually plan to really talk about. So that was just one I came up with on the fly.
We're gonna move over to a already dead, beaten horse. Black coaches in the NFL not getting up their shake.
I was talking about the way they were treated because everybody brings it up.
That's what I just said.
I'm saying like that's the way they've been treated though, is like this is a horse that keeps getting beaten to death because it seems like they're getting fair shots, or the NFL wants to make it seem like they've been getting fair shots, but they actually haven't been. Hence the Brian Flores lawsuit. And we're not going to spend too long on this topic for you folks, but I just want to get into it real quick. Brian Flores has text from Bill Belichick congratulating him instead of the other Brian that used to work for him, Brian DeBall, and on getting the New York Giants job. This was 3 days before Flores' scheduled interview with the Giants. And that pretty much, that's got a bad scent to it, a bad taste. That's probably the most damning piece of evidence. He claims some things about the Broncos, about Elway coming in there drunk and everything. Says Miami's owner wanted to pay him $100,000 to lose games to try and get like the number 1 pick. I don't know, but to me, the greatest piece of evidence is that text from Bill Belichick before his scheduled interview with the Giants, which is pretty much a waste of the Rooney Rule. I mean, hey, what do you think about it, guys? Real quick.
I mean, we all know that basically these teams have to, when it's a head coaching position open, that they have to, check all the boxes, get the diversity interviews in. But like this just seems like they just already had the person that they wanted in mind.
Yeah.
And that he already basically had the job, but they just was giving Brian Flores that interview just for that diversity check off, which, and then to have to kind of have the, I guess, audacity to let Bill Belichick know ahead of time too of who they were picking. Like, yeah, it seems a bit scummy. Seems a bit scummy.
They're gonna be like the Giants came out and was like, Bill Belichick doesn't know how we conducted this search. Bill Belichick was a member of the staff when Sean Taylor was playing. Like, he obviously has a huge in with the Giants over there. So he knew that Brian DeBall got the job, right? He just texted Brian Flores mistakenly. I'm not calling Bill Belichick like shady, but it's shady that he already knew that, So
I mean, what about Deflategate, dude? Bill Belichick has been into some controversies, dog. Like he ain't squeaky clean. Bill Belichick, dog.
He's not squeaky clean, but I'm saying for this situation, he's not like somebody in the wrong. Somebody gave him some information. He was trying to text one of his former coaches, like one of his former employees that worked for him, and tell him congrats. but he accidentally texted Brian Flores instead of Brian Duvall. I don't know. I think it's really shady because then shortly after the Brian Flores lawsuit news came out, the Minnesota Vikings, there was a bunch of stories that said Patrick Graham, who's a DC for the Giants, I believe. They said he had a 9-hour interview with the Vikings and that everybody loved him. He was being taken around and everything. And then all of a sudden the next day, when they don't land Jim Harbaugh, they're like, oh, we're actually going to get the OC from LA Rams whenever the Super Bowl is done. I'm like, dang, why'd y'all put that story out then about having this great interview with like Patrick Graham?
They're just the way they conduct business with and move around coaches. It's weird.
To put it into perspective, they said that Cliff Kingsbury had a worse or similar. He only had like a couple more wins than Steve Wilkes did his first year in Arizona, but they fired Steve Wilkes after the first year, kept Cliff Kingsbury, and then all of that being said, the NFL has this Rooney Rule. They're supposed to interview at least 2 candidates of color, I believe, not just black people. That's like all races, and but it turns out now that there's only one black coach. And before the Rooney Rule was implemented, there used to be more. So since the Rooney Rule was actually placed, it's actually gotten worse when it comes to head coaching vacancies. And obviously the one coach that's in that is black is Mike Tomlin, whose organization is the Rooney family, right? So, I mean, I don't know, but to me, I think Brian Flores, unlike like Kaepernick's situation, because Kaepernick was kind of blackballed out of the league, but at the same time, private businesses can do whatever. Brian Flores kind of has like a really good shot, I think, for getting something done here because it seems like he's got some proof that, hey, especially that New York Giants interview where he was just like a box check for the Rooney Rule and not actually given a fair shot. I think Flores is actually going to make some leeway because the NFL or Roger Goodell already sent out like a scathing memo to the owners talking about they need to like straighten up. And I don't think that was supposed to get leaked because the NFL released a statement to Brian Flores' lawsuit saying that they believe that his lawsuit is without merit. But then Roger Goodell sent that out to all the owners. So I don't know, Drew. What are your thoughts?
I'm not a fan of the Rooney Rule. I do believe that there should be more black head coaches. That's not what I'm saying, but I feel like when you force a team to do something like that, it's more of, well, we got to interview this guy or else we're gonna get fined. So you're interviewing him so you don't get in trouble. So you're not looking at him as a possible candidate. You're just doing it, to quote Marshawn Lynch, so you don't get fined. When these are good head coaches, there's no reason why Eric Bieniemy shouldn't be a head coach for an NFL team. Yeah. Like, I don't know what Eric is doing in his interviews. Who knows? Eric might be turning interviews down because he wants to take the Kansas City job when Andy Reid retires. I don't know. But I feel like the Rooney Rule, it's done, like you said, a lot more damage than it has helped black head coaches.
Well, that's just statistically. Like before it was implemented, there was more black head coaches, and now there's only one. But basically, literally, guys, like the 4 coordinators that were talked about the most, like for head coaching vacancies just this year, like Byron Leftwich, Todd Bowles, Eric Bieniemy, and somebody else. Morris? Yeah, Raheem Morris. Literally, the top 4 dudes everybody's talking about, all black. Out of the 5 head coaches that have been hired, none of those guys got the job.
I was pulling for when Dan Quinn got fired and they made Raheem interim head coach. That's who I wanted the Falcons to get was Raheem Morris.
Yeah, that's true.
I thought he
That's
had
who
it.
I wanted Atlanta. I thought he had it too. I don't even know if they interviewed him or not, though. I'm
did.
sure they probably did. I'm sure they did, yeah.
I remember when they posted it on their Twitter account. Hey, Raheem Morris conducted his interview for head coach today, or whatever. I don't know, man. I'm just saying, and we can discuss it on another show more in depth. It's getting late for all of us here recording. But I definitely think Brian Flores has a real case. I made a bad segue. All right. One out of however many I've done. But I think he definitely has a case against the NFL.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I think Brian Flores is going to do in the NFL kind of what Colin really wanted to do with implementing some real change. But Colin also at the same time was really protesting like police brutality. And then he just kind of got blackballed for kneeling after that, because I definitely thought he could have served as a backup on any other team. Maybe a starter if he got back to like his Super Bowl weight, because once he went vegan, he kind of got skinny. But I don't know. I think Brian Flores has a real shot. Those Bill Belichick texts to me is like a huge piece of evidence. Yeah.
Yeah.
Incriminating to the NFL and the Giants for sure. Because
I'm and when I was talking about that, I wasn't like blaming Belichick, but I'm saying I'm not surprised that he had the jump on that information.
there's one team in the league that has never had a black head coach. New York Giants. And there's one team in the league, or the team that was last to start a black quarterback, the New York Giants. It was Geno Smith, like just a couple years ago. But yeah, folks, we're gonna wind it down. So, all that being said, fabulous show, fantastic. We had special guest Mike Conti on. Man, it was a great show. So we're gonna get into our closing thoughts here, and I'm gonna start with Drewby. Closing thoughts and your plugs for social media.
Closing thoughts. Everyone, if you're listening to this, when you listen to this, because I know you listen, tweet at 929 the game. Tweet at Mike Conti. All right, let him know that Drew killed him. All right, and he don't want a rap battle circa 8 Mile with Eminem. All right, because I'll put him to sleep. All right. Follow the Unheard Of fan page on Facebook. All right. You can follow me on Twitter at DrewNasty96. All right. Always a pleasure getting on here chatting with you boys. I love y'all. Yeah. I felt like I had something else to say there, but it slipped my mind. So I'll bow out to you two.
All right. Yep. Closing thoughts for me, folks. If you have an opportunity to get one on your friends, go ahead and get it. Special thanks to Mike Conti for giving us all some joy this week. That was a excellent take. Calling Drew's takes just bum and telling him that he doesn't know what he's talking about.
He did.
It was it was great. It was great. So if you have the great opportunity to just prank your friends, go ahead and do it. You can find me on Twitter at Jerod Evans. Again, not much going on my Twitter feed lately. It's been real boring out there. But I mean, hey, it is what it is. You can find me on there, because if you're not one of the native listeners who's close to us, I don't want you finding me on Facebook. So, you know what? There you go. And all that being said, I'm going to turn it over to the main man of the show, ABG.
Hey, yo. Closing thoughts, man. Thank you, everybody. This episode's gonna be really long, so if you got to this point of the episode, thank you so much for listening. I don't know. I say it every week. Thank you guys. You guys are the reason why we do this.
Thank you to Drew for being on this week. Kind of, breaking it up for us, bringing something new in. It's just been me and Jerod for the past few episodes. So yeah, it felt good to bring somebody back on. Shout out to you, Drew. Shout out to all the listeners. Shout out to my mama. And you can find me on Twitter at young without the O _ABG. You can find us on Twitter at unheard_of_pod. That's going to be the same on Instagram, unheard_of_pod. Facebook, unheard of. Search for us. We there. Your places where you find your podcasts, except for Apple Music, we're there. We're everywhere. YouTube, we got links. We here. It's unheard of. We ain't going nowhere. Thank you.
All right. Well, again, Drew, thanks for being on the show this week. Thank you all for listening. And as always, we love you, we hear you, and we hope you hear us here at Unheard Of.
And as always, I'm Arthur.
And I'm Jerod. And you just listened to
Unheard Of.
At the